Meanwhile, the Nigerian Army Headquarters, Department of Civil Military Affairs organized a human rights seminar in Enugu with the theme Human Rights and Operational Effectiveness, establishing the Nexus aimed at providing a platform for interaction between civilians and the military. Afia TV's head of news and current affairs, Alex Ogbodo, was at the event and now reports.
Journalists, women groups, and the organized labor who had just one thing in mind: to ask the tough questions about the military's engagement with the rest of the population. The chairman of the occasion, Honorable Justice Ozemena, the Chief Justice of Enugu State, represented by Honorable Justice A.O. Onovo, commended the Nigerian Army for creating a platform for dialogue regarding the rights of civilians during military operations.
The take-home from this seminar is that the Army as well is your friend. We are transiting from the era in which the military is like the elephant in the China workshop to a time when the military in the operations recognize that there are civil rights, civil humanitarian rights, which are bound to be protected. And these rights should not be trampled upon, no matter the target of the military in the operations. That these rights are inalienable and they should be respected in military operations. And that's what we are deliberating on. That even though there are necessities for the military to carry out the operations, they should not intentionally trample on the rights of civilians who are not one of those they are pursuing or they are against.
Major General G.U. Chubuisu, Chief of Civil Military Affairs, spoke on the essence of the seminar and why the 5th edition was different.
Today's seminar is one of the forums that we have deliberately come up with to make the Army in particular more understandable to the civilian populace. There are a lot of misconceptions that people bear about military operations, and that impacts the way they view the Army. The Army is peopled by Nigerians, and so it's the people's army and it's our army. And that has to be seen. Unfortunately, some misconceptions that others have held has tended to mar that ownership. So today we focused on human rights, trying to make people know that our operations actually are factored in to ensure maximum protection of the human rights of all citizens in our area of operation. And that we have robust code of conduct that we release for every operation that our troops are going to be involved in. And we also use it to get feedback on maybe even specific cases of violations so that we can take them up and make sure that appropriate investigations are carried out and necessary conclusions done.
On his part, Major General Olayemi Thomas, the General Officer commanding GOC 82 Division of the Nigerian Army, highlighted the importance of the interaction with the people, which promotes sensitization, striking a balance between national security and human rights.
No better time than now. One thing I am happy about is this opportunity to have this interaction with the people. And like I've said in several meetings I've had with people, is that they are equally part, or they are major stakeholders in the national security architecture. One thing I have observed mostly is the poor sensitization, first about human rights itself among the people, and them understanding the issue of national security, which in most cases you see whereby there's a clash between those who are trying to implement national security and human rights. So with this kind of opportunity, we can strike a balance between the two. The understanding is going to be kept alive, and of course, it will lead to better outcomes in our future operations.
The seminar featured 2 thought-provoking keynote speeches. The speakers include Major General A.B. Omozoje, retired, who spoke on the topic Military Necessity and Human Rights Concerns, Striking a Balance, while Professor Felix Asogwa, Director, Institute for Peace, Conflict and Development Studies, Enugu State University of Science and Technology, ESUT, delivered a paper titled Protection of Civilians in Armed Conflicts, Dissecting the Mindset of Soldiers and Civilians.
The armed forces of Nigeria has been deployed extensively in internal security operations in line with the constitutional mandate to suppress insurrection and act in aid of civil authority to restore order when called upon to do so by the President and Commander-in-Chief. The armed forces of Nigeria is deployed in all regions of Nigeria, confronting Boko Haram insurgency, armed banditry, kidnappings, violent ethnic and religious upheavals, militancy, oil theft, and violent secessionist agitations. This multiplicity of engagements have raised allegations of abuse of human rights against the military, including arbitrary arrests, extrajudicial killings, sexual violence, and enforced disappearances. The federal government of Nigeria has adopted a whole of society and whole of government approach involving government institutions, the United Nations agencies, and civil society to enhance human rights protection in the fight to contain internal security challenges.
From ancient codes inscribed on clay tablets to the complex framework of modern international humanitarian law, the protection of non-combatants has been a continuous thread, sometimes frayed, often strengthened, but never wholly severed. The root of the debate extends far into ancient world, where the distinction between combatants and non-combatants was often blurred but recognized in law and custom. In ancient Greece, for instance, the concept of just war, what was called bellum gestion, emerged through the writings of philosophers such as Aristotle and later Cicero in Rome. These thinkers proposed criteria under which war could be waged legitimately, implicitly or explicitly, recognizing that not all members of society should be exposed to ravages of conflict.
The paper presentations were followed by panel discussions with questions from the audience and answers from the military. As the occasion ended, everyone agreed that more work still needs to be done in achieving a level playing field where the military respects all the rules of engagement and balancing it with their role of providing security for the homeland and maintaining the human rights of the Nigerian people. In Enugu, Alex Ogbodo for Afia TV.